Okay. So the eyes of Tammy Faye. You hear it in the background, the credits. I just finished the film, and it's funny because, I started it probably about a week ago, and then all of a sudden today, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember how it ended. So I said, wait a minute, I need to go back and finish this movie. And that's one of the great things about streaming, is that you can go back and finish something later. I'm thankful for that. But anyway, I gotta say, this movie is a must-see. It's definitely not like going to be on my rewatchability list or anything like that, but it's a good movie. Now, one thing, the actress, and I'll just say very quickly that at the end, one of the things they did was they actually had, they showed a side-by-side of the actress and her. Hang on, I'll show you. See, look at this. Look at this side-by-side.
It's not over till it's over.
So her name, I believe, is Jessica Chastain. Chastain, I think that's how you say it. She is wonderful. Like, I am so impressed. I mean, the guy that did Jim Baker, yeah, he did pretty good too. But she nailed this, and I'm like, she deserves some type of an award for sure. I'm very impressed. And for me, I'm very tough on any type of biographical pick. And this is just a little bit different. She nailed it, and it's a good movie. For those like myself who are followers of Christ, it touches on some nerves, at least with me. I remember coming up, I was never a huge fan of Jerry Falwell, but I did listen to him from time to time, and I followed his ministry, and I remember wanting to do the Liberty Home Bible Institute, which I never did. And I remember the little Jesus First pins. I got me some of those. But God, man, you hear this stuff and you're like, and I mean, I'd heard some of this story before, but you're like, wow, man, he really was kind of ruthless, and it just sounded like, wow, he was kind of a villain in many respects. And I don't want to disgrace the man's memory or his legacy or anything like that, so I won't go too far with that. I don't want to, I'll give you an example. I was reading about a pastor earlier, and I had already established an opinion on him based off of a belief he had at one point in his life. The interesting thing, this was early in his ministry. He had a particular, really, it was around the time of segregation, so he was actually not in favor of integration. So he was for segregation. So, to me, I'm like, he's a racist. Like, whoa, okay, so he's one of those. But then when I read about him, and I still have never listened to the guy preach, but I read about him, because his ministry spanned for 50 years. So once I read about him, I saw that he actually changed his beliefs about a decade after that, and was actually kind of monumental in integrating the Baptist church. So I was like, wow, okay, cool. So I guess my point is, I don't want to pick on Jerry Falwell, because I know he did a lot of good too. Sometimes we can really, I've used the expression that, you can make one mistake. You can make one mistake, and it outweighs the under 364 days of the year. A person judges you based off that one day, that one mistake, versus, okay, they don't want to think now all the good you've done. They don't want to think about all the good, it's always that one little thing that you do wrong, that one slip up, that one wrong way of thinking or decision or whatever. And, I'm not a fan of that. That's not fair to judge people in that way, and I know Christ definitely does not judge us in that way. So, anyway, great film, worth the watch. The Eyes of Tammy Faye. It is available right now on HBO Max. Go watch it. It's worth it. And it's, if you want, I've already seen documentaries on it, so I was familiar with it. There's a few good documentaries. I would definitely research it, because the actual, it's really nuts, because when this was happening, I was just coming into the world, so it's kind of a little before my time, kind of slightly. But you talk to a lot of older people from that generation, they know what PTL is. It's like, man, PTL, yeah, man, PTL, that was the coolest thing, and then when I started to look at some of the footage, I'm like, wow, this was really impressive. And I think they had the right idea. They knew what they was doing. They really wanted to do something. And like a lot of people, they get lost. They got lost in it, and it's easy to do. It's like with anything. You hang shiny things in front of somebody, and it distracts them. And money does that to people sometimes. Money, success, fame, it can really damage you, and cause you to lose your sense of purpose and your mission and everything else. So anyway, great film, worth the watch. Check it out. I give it oh man, just on her acting performance alone, I'm gonna go ahead and say 4.5 stars. 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think so. It's a good movie. Like I said, I don't think it's something that I'm gonna want to watch over and over again. So rewatchability wise, it's on my one-time watch movie list, but I would probably say it's one of the better films that's been released in a while. It's and definitely for something dealing with the Christian community, I didn't feel like it was picking on the Christian community. I felt like it was more kind of straight out, this is what happened. And I appreciate that. And a lot of things now, because of the secularism and this mindset of thinking, they pick on the Christian community more than anything. So I'm actually happy that this was very, for the most part, it seemed pretty accurate from what I could see. And what I had already studied. So, take a look at it. You be the judge. Take a look and compare it to the actual facts and the actual history and go from there. But it's a pretty good movie. Definitely check it out. It's worth the watch.